I'll just share my screen for a while and then we'll take it forward. Okay. Okay, so a very good morning to everyone. Investing in science education and curiosity-driven research is investing in future. So with this beautiful and intellectual thought, I, Dr. Akanksha Kalra, Assistant Professor at Dr. Bilal Institute of Biotechnology, would like to welcome you all to this knowledge and opportunity-driven discussion, Biotechnology and Emerging Nexus, which is organized by Guide Zone, that is the higher education cell at Dr. Bilal Institute of Biotechnology. The session is planned to discuss regarding the career prospects post BSc and MSc Biotechnology, the various research domains and their current scenario in India and overseas. Besides, the session will also highlight the roadmaps to achieve those objectives. Recent years, we have witnessed major breakthroughs and advancements focusing on all the aspects of human health, agriculture, and environment. In this regard, United Nations declared 17 sustainable goals, commonly referred to as SDGs, in 2015. As a result, the major researches are focused in the three sectors as human health, environment sustainability, novel technologies in food and agriculture sciences. To discuss more about these novel discoveries and their current scenarios, as well as to find out the opportunities and scope in this sector, we have with us the three different experts in their respective domains. We welcome you and it's an honor to have you all. So we'll begin the session with a brief introduction of our experts. We have with us Dr. Vinay Kumar Tyagi. He is Ramalinga Swamy Fellow from Environmental Biotechnology Group, Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Roorkee. His major research interests include anaerobic digestion, energy-efficient wastewater treatment systems, biomass to bioenergy conversion, advanced sludge pre-treatment technologies, and health-related water microbiology. We welcome you, sir, with floral greetings, virtually, of course. From the domain of plant and agriculture biotechnology, we have with us Dr. Prashant Singh, Assistant Professor at Banaras Hindu University, with a strong background in plant physiology, molecular biology, seed dormancy, and plant molecular pathology. He's an achiever of several prestigious awards, including Overseas Research Award, UK, USDFA, NIFA, etc., to name a few. We welcome you, sir, with floral greetings and virtually again.
Thank you.
Okay, we have with us Dr. Sandeep K. Srivastav, Senior Scientist and Head, Department of Allergy and Molecular Diagnostics, Dr. Bilal Clinical Laboratory Private Limited. After his PhD from PGIMER Chandigarh and postdoctoral from Pasteur Institute, Paris, he has been actively involved in public health prevention and cure. He has established the Center of Excellence for Allergy Diagnostics as BCL. He's also the founder and head of CIRD, of Center of Excellence for Allergy Diagnostics. He is also the nodal officer for COVID-19 cell during the pandemic. He has also been the chief coordinator for public health crisis management during the public health emergency during H1N1 epidemics in Rajasthan in the year 2015. So he has been actively involved in the COVID-19 diagnostics during the 3 waves in Jaipur. We welcome you, sir, with the floral greetings. So we'll start the session with our esteemed experts. Okay, so the near to successful fight against COVID-19 pandemic via its timely diagnosis and development of vaccines, easier ways to grow 3D model organisms, use of stem cell research to generate organoids, etc., are certain discoveries in the medical and health sciences. Similarly, identification of engineered bacterial strains of Azotobacter aid to fertilize crops, reducing water pollution, determining steps to reduce nitrogen levels, to control pollution, novel polymer fuel cell technologies to cut down carbon emissions are certain highlights of the environmental research. Identifying ways to produce stress-resistant plants, use of Baker's yeast for aging-related therapeutics, and use of computer models to describe the crop production increases and soil nitrous oxide emissions are certain achievements in the agriculture sector. So far, we have realized that none of the technology that we talk about are self-sufficient. Instead, all the technologies are an amalgamation of multiple streams. So we begin with our very first query, that is, today, no problem has a single solution. In fact, no technology is self-sufficient or no technology is related to a single discipline. So we need multiple inputs from multiple disciplines. So my first question is, how well has biotechnology been successful in this arena? I would like to address this question to all the three speakers. So we can start with Vinay Tyagi, sir, please. Sir, your mic is off.
So thank you for the introduction and all this information. So regarding environmental biotechnology, since I'm working in this domain, and most of the research is focused around wastewater and biomass, bioenergy, and all these things. So my discussion will cover all these domains. So if we go back a decade before. So at that time, environmental biotechnology addressed the pollution remediation, especially if you talk about wastewater treatment, biomass treatment, all these things. Okay. So currently, the environmental biotechnology is used apart from the treatments to consider these waste as a resource and recover energy, because we are an energy deficient community. So now researchers are looking towards harnessing the energy potential, energy and value-added products from these wastes. Like if you talk about, if we think, take the example of wastewater treatment. Okay, so wastewater is apart considering it waste, it is a rich source of carbon and nitrogen and phosphorus. So current environmental biotechnology approaches are towards recovering the nutrients, nitrogen and phosphorus is emitting in nature. So this is an alternative. Then bioenergy in terms of biogas, methane and hydrogen, so it can use for transportation fuel. And Japan and some European nations like Denmark and Sweden, these are some good examples who implement these technologies. Okay, so apart from this, if you are talking about biomass, so when I'm talking about biomass, it means agro waste. Every year we face the problem of biomass burning in Punjab or in the agricultural state Punjab, Haryana, and UP. So municipal solid waste and sludges is a byproduct of wastewater treatment. So now environmental biotechnology addressing these the disposal or management related issue in this way, like say municipal solid waste. So municipal solid waste contains is a source of RDF, so refused derived fuels. So plastic and all these which having a calorific values, it can recover from the waste and reuse in cement industry. So similarly, sludge is rich in carbon, so used to produce biogas. So yes, environmental biotechnology expand itself in last decade.
Yes, I think Dr. Prashant may highlight some.
Okay. So the first, I would like to thank the Bilal again. So I'm always happy to be the part of Bilal directly or indirectly. When I was in Jaipur, I was associated. I'm very happy, the kind of the question has been framed, because this is the current scenario that we need to deal with it, either professionally, personally, even in terms of career. So the first question, what has been raised, I mean, it is totally authentic. And in my purview, if I try to see the whole, the problem into the four big parts, like one is sustainable global food security. Then again, this disease tackling, like the Vinay was talking about this, the cleaning of pollutions, harnessing natural resources. So if you look any domain, there are different sort of technologies are available. And I'm not saying, and I'm not preaching they are good or bad, but yes, indeed, everywhere the concept of biotechnology is involved, and they can be translated and they can be harnessed for the betterment of people, planet, as well as profit. So when I talk in terms of these things, so always remember, so the three important aspects you need to deal with. One is the people. Let's imagine if you're talking about global food security, people, planet, as well as profit. So you need to tick all the three boxes. And yes, indeed, biotechnology has been sort of successfully dealt with these things. And if I just take, just a small example in every aspect, so let's say if we talk about this, the global food security, number of technologies are available. We were using this, the plant breeding, we were using insecticide, we were using pesticides for this, the food security. But now with the advancement of these agricultural biotechnology, or the plant biotechnology, or the plant molecular biotechnology, we can use these advancement technology at each domain, and we can harness. And you must be knowing nowadays, I mean, as the new technology like the CRISPR-Cas, it's a very fascinating. We talk about the CRISPR-Cas, right? But again, I would like to emphasize that when we talk about the biotechnology, we also need to deal with some the political, social, and ethical issues. So we also need to consider these facts. Yes, indeed, biotechnology is present almost everywhere. And I think I will discuss this more in some other, the question that could be raised. But yes, you can pick any domain. Is not only successful, there is a job market. Again, I will discuss more in detail when we're talking about the job market. So if you are a graduate, the postgraduate, even the PhD, always there is an opportunity at your interest where you want to get in the agricultural sector, in the medical sector, in the industrial sector. And that's the reason we call, like the three big term, agricultural biotechnology, when we talk like the green biotechnology, the red biotechnologies, like the medical biotechnology. And if we talk about the food industry, mostly it is the white biotechnology or the industrial biotechnology. And everywhere advancement is there. And I'm not going to talk, these in detail. What are these, the techniques? Some of you guys might know, but yes, some of the recent techniques, as I told you, the CRISPR, yes, there was a big issue with the transgenics, because I'm also the part of this, the committee with the government of India to the monitoring the transgenic. As a scientist, I could say there is no big problem if I'm creating a regulated transgenic, but yes, there is indeed some sort of issue. But now because of the CRISPR-Cas, you can also bypass a bit of this, the social and the ethical issue. So you can see as we are moving advancement, even you can also diluting with the help of these biotechnology, either the social, political, and the ethical issue. So because of the CRISPR-Cas. Secondly, like the tackling the disease, I can give you a very simple example in terms of work. I'm not a medical. I don't have any MBBS degree, right? I'm a pure plant molecular biologist. In the first COVID era at the Institute of Medical Sciences, now we have to develop these facilities, right? And again, you will be surprised. Most of the doctor, they are doctor, trust me, I can share with you. They are not the real molecular biologists. But because of the training which I had, whether in India or abroad, in terms of molecular biology, I set up the COVID facility at Institute of Medical Sciences, which is running very nicely. So because you know what is PCR, what is RT-PCR, how you can extract DNA, how you can extract RNA, how you can make cDNA. So you can see I didn't have the background of medical, but now I'm in the core member of Institute of Medical Sciences just because of the background of biotechnology. So it's a very simple and very real-time example that the biotechnology has niche in everywhere. Cleaning up pollution, I think Vinay already explained so much, but nowadays, a lot of these big companies like the biomining. So what they do, so now look, the term in 1950s, that was the term, the mining, but now the term is coming like the biomining. So again, you see everywhere this biotechnology getting in there. So the biomining is what? They are developing certain enzymes, and these enzymes are capable of degrading residues of the petroleum waste, oil industry, as well as some other stuff. Moreover, there is one big company, if somebody is interested, which I will talk later on, the Carbios, because I had a chance to, during my PhD, I also had an interaction with Carbios. So the Carbios is a big France industry, and they are developing recycling of this PET waste and to make it more sustainable. Moreover, this use of natural resources. Now we are exploiting these natural resources, either the copper ore, the mineral ore, but now because of the biotechnology sector or the industry, they are getting in and they are minimizing the risk to the environment. So again, you have the technology, you have the benefit, there is no impact to the environment, as well as you have the profit. So you see, you have different technologies that are available, but just because of biotechnology, you are taking all the 3 Ps, people, planet, as well as profit. Because in current scenario, if any of the box is unticked, any technology is not sustainable. Imagine you have a very nice technology, but if there is impact to the environment, you have a profit, it is not sustainable. No impact to the environment, it's a good technology, but again, there is no profit, it is not sustainable. But now because of biotechnology, we are ticking all the 3 boxes, and I can say it confidently in every sector, medical, industry, agriculture, mining, pollution, in all these sectors, the biotechnology is everywhere. So in a very nutshell, I would like to say, and even I assume this, the student, right, they can educate, even the biotechnology also like the educated to public, regulators, and as well as the industries. So you also, because of this biotechnologies, you have also a lot of other resources not coming from academia. It is also coming from industries, NGOs they are supporting. So in a big scale, you can see that it is like a holistic technology that is present everywhere, and in more or less, it is almost successful in every sector with pros and cons. So that is my thought. If there is further query, then we will discuss more. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sandeep sir, your views, please.
Yes. So first of all, I would like to thank you, Dr. Akansha, because you have given the opportunity to share me the platform with such a great people, Dr. Vinay and Dr. Prashant. So I'm very much fortunate to share the platform today. And again, I will request to all participants, because you have got the great opportunity, take the full advantage of this discussion and session. And in this, I will request all of the participants to take the first step. All please switch on your video, because we don't know to whom we are talking. So I request all the participants come on the video and enjoy the sharing the screen, take the clips or screenshots for your memory that you have got the chance to meet with such people, Dr. Prasad and Dr. Vinay. And coming to the question which you raised so very nicely, because Dr. Vinay has highlighted that the any product, whether it is a waste or first position or very useful, So every product has its merits and demerits, but we need to see how we are thinking, what is our approach to take the best, we can say the best from the waste. And on the technology part, Dr. Prasant has elaborated very nicely, because single technology is not complete. And of course, we have to approach multidisciplinary, multi-technologies, multiple technologies we need to consider to get the output to sustain, because sustainability is again the major issue for any technology or any product which is coming from any technical aspect. I would add the acceptance of the product, because the utility and potential of all product we need to see from the all directions. Number two, it has to be sustainable in every aspects, and the acceptance. Acceptance means you can say the significance or utility to the society. So if we see nowadays, especially when the COVID has taught us tremendously and very fast, it has given us the many teaching and also reminded about old or rituals or old religions we need to focus on. So what I say, because when you talk about any subject, any technology, all has to come to end with the solution. So whatever the challenges happening into the society, if we are integrating good approach to see multi-directionally, multi-dynamically. Number two, multiple technologies get together, merge at one center to solve the problem, and ultimately output has come to the solution, to the end product, to the end user, to the customer or to the society, anyone. So we need to collaborate with each and every aspect. I would only add at this moment, because not only subject biotechnology or maybe environment, we also need to open our scenario, open a thinking that mathematicians are also important. The physics aspect of every movement is also important, because if we see in COVID pandemic management and its control measures, we see all the people, epidemiologists, mathematicians, physicists, they came together and they proposed their all respective inputs. How fast this COVID will spread, how dynamically it will move from one direction to another direction, how the sewage monitoring or the finding out the some markers in the sewage can be beneficial to take preventive actions. So every field came together, and then we see this was a huge impact, and this would have the huge mortality all over the world, but we would have control all those things. So the message or the take home message from all these events is one thing: we need to open up. We should not limit our limitation where we are skilled. If we are skilled in one sector, fine, but globally or largely you see the picture what all other materials or requirements are required to solve the problem or to come up till the solution, and then find out the respective expert in the world and take them on the one platform and go for the solution. So this is from my side on this aspects. So I believe this will help.
थैंक यू सो मच सर. थैंक यू एवरीवन. सो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन को अगर हम क्रक्स करें तो हमें काफी सारी चीजें मिली हैं, बट मेजर क्रक्स इश्यूज इज कि एनवायरमेंट बायोटेक्नोलॉजी भी बहुत सारे मैनेजमेंट एंड एनर्जी रिलेटेड इश्यूज को सॉल्व कर रही है. Similarly, Dr. Prashant के अकॉर्डिंग पीपल, प्लैनेट एंड प्रॉफिट. सो वी नीड टू फोकस या वी नीड सम टेक्नोलॉजी जहां पर तीनों चीजें हो. एंड द फाइनल कंक्लूजन फ्रॉम डॉक्टर संदीप इज कि सारे डिपार्टमेंट से सारी टेक्नोलॉजीज या एरेनास को साथ में आके सोल्यूशन टारगेटेड जो प्रॉब्लम है उसको कंसिडर करना चाहिए. सो इसमें दैट अप्रोच हैज टू बी मल्टी डायरेक्शनल, मल्टी डायनेमिक एंड इट इन्वॉल्व्स एवरीथिंग एंड एवरीथिंग. सो सिंस हम एग्जांपल्स भी कोविड से ले रहे हैं और कोविड के साथ ही चल रहे हैं, तो माय नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज टू डॉक्टर संदीप. एंड आप नोडल ऑफिसर भी रहे हैं कोविड-19 सेल के और तीनों वेव्स में आपने बहुत क्लोजली मॉनिटर भी किया है. सो माय क्वेश्चन इज कि वी नो इंडिया ने बहुत की रोल प्ले किया है इन फाइटिंग द कोविड-19 पैंडेमिक एंड कॉम्प्रोमाइज हेल्थ फैसिलिटीज के बावजूद भी सिचुएशन जो है वो काफी कंट्रोल में रही थी. So how has this shaped the career and research opportunities for the current and upcoming bio and biotechnology graduates? So अब इसके बाद after this pandemic हमें क्या लगता है कि biotechnology या biology students के लिए scope और कितना improve हुआ है और किस तरीके से improve हुआ है?
So it's a very nice query, or it always roam around the graduates and even postgraduates, even PhDs, or even in the early career stage people. Because what is the significance? What is the identity? Where are the scope of biotechnology or biology people? So COVID case scenario, if we talk about what COVID has shown us. During COVID, I have got the opportunity to work on all the waves. So closely monitor how the people have reacted. What are the ground realities they were having and we were having to get the solution as soonest as possible. As the impact was huge, number was huge. So every single or millisecond was important, and even mini paisa, if we call about not in dollar, not in rupees, single paisa was important to invest or to put into the market, but it was a huge number. So it came with the huge impact. So everybody came to know little things are very much important to solve the things. In this scenario also, one thing also came up. Everybody has got a tremendous mind setup, or they have the skilled, because when necessity came, and the necessity was just like up to the survival. You will not survive if you not fulfill this necessity. So जो पुराना डायलॉग से हम saying है, आवश्यकता ही आविष्कार की जननी है. So in COVID, it has come up very nicely. In different aspects, different requirements appeared. If we talk about the diagnostic kits, the fast speediness of the diagnostic kits, then there are many variant came up of the COVID. So the all kit has to sustain or diagnose or detect each variant of the COVID. So people were working every second to update themselves. So they were very alert. So that alertness also important. So all this nutshell, if I say, what is required, what is the future? So any career, when the career come, and when one career can be a very good in a sense, when the identity of that particular subject or career is important. Okay. When the every career is nicely identified or accepted into the society, then only you have the chance to grow. This is very sure. If you talk about the IT people, everybody can say IT people are getting very much good, high skill, high pay scale, high salary. The lifestyle is very different. They have the good solution to the problems very fast, and globally they can attack. Engineers, doctors, they all have their own identity, all well set, well accepted into the society. But into the field of the biotechnology, if you see biotechnologists, the acceptance of biotechnologists or microbiologists or biochemists, it was very limited to the some different pockets, like in academia only, or some R&D units in the industry. They knew the importance of the biotechnologies, biology, or maybe dedicated R&D units in the industry. They identify or they give good credit to these profiles. But as a whole, if we say in the political level or in an administrative level or in common people or in society, when you ask, okay, you are doing biotechnology, अच्छा, it means आप lab में कुछ काम करते हो, ठीक है, काम चल जाएगा. Kind of these dialogues or these non-acceptance, yeah, not awareness has to be into the society, but in even a very big offices also. Biotechnology, okay, go for the quality control. QC officer ban jaiye aap. That's okay, that's fine. So very limited options were there. But swine flu kind of epidemics and this such pandemic has given the eye to the society. How much the biotechnology or biology is important. They have shown the clear profile of the biotechnology. Even now, if you see, every person knows the RT-PCR. When you talk about before pandemic, आठवीं पीसीआर क्या होता है, आई डोंट नो, पता नहीं क्या क्या करते रहते हो, कभी बैक्टीरिया से खेलते हो, कभी लैब में आप देखते हो. दिस वाज द सिनेरियो, बट नाउ every person is talking about the RT-PCR technology is very nice, very fast, very potential it is having. तो दूसरी डिसीज के लिए, अदर डिसीज, अदर एस्पेक्ट्स, इवन बायोडिग्रेडेशन, बायोरिमेडिएशन के लिए भी कॉमन पीपल आर आस्किंग, डू वी हैव एनी सॉल्यूशन इन RT-PCR technology or by RT-PCR technology? So such examples showed us the identity and we can say the impact of the biotechnology people has given a good picture. Now every common people knows the biotechnology people can design the diagnostic kit, they can design good mask, N95 mask, they can design the policies, they can design the things कि कितनी दूरी पे रहना चाहिए तब कोविड आपको स्प्रेड नहीं करेगा, टच नहीं करेगा, how you can measure the spread of the COVID, but some everybody is known. So now the acceptance of that profile has appeared. That was more important. So I would say during pandemic or after pandemic, the acceptance of the biotechnology people or biology people has emerged drastically in India, outside India, everywhere. And if you talk about the mind of the Indians people, they were always great, whether they are working into the inside the country or outside the country. Then what change has happened? The change has happened, the acceptance of the mind or the excellence into the mindset of the scientific people. The political people has accepted it. So they have created or they have given the open hand to generate the nice ecosystem. Whatever the we people as a postdoc or when we get the position outside the country, we get all the facilities available to our desk. So see, they developed countries developed a good ecosystem. So same thinking and same willingness has also appeared at the political level. So many policies are coming up, many R&D funds are released, and the speed of any project getting sanctioned is so fast. Digitization has given additional input in that. The all platform has come up on the digital things. So because of the digitization of the media, of even we are talking now, this is very on the real time. So the policy making, project generation, project discussion, project finalization, approval, fund receiving, it is totally fast. So there's no hurdle now. The only thing is we have to be now at our best and then open your arm, open your eyes and get the collaboration. So after pandemic, the identity of the profile of biotechnologists has established very nicely. The ecosystem has emerged very positive way. Political will is there to put into the R&D. So these all things are giving good ecosystem ultimate. So there are a lot of things now. There's no limit. Everywhere the biotechnologists and biologists can play the role, whether it's a film, you can say the PP kit formation, mask formation, sanitizer formation, or maybe drug development, or maybe vaccine development. So everywhere we are having the profile. The only thing we need to set our profile in our mindset as per the skills and propose the industry or academia. So this is what the change in the dynamics, change into the mentality and acceptance has appeared during the pandemic or because of pandemic. So we must thank the pandemic like situation, and we must all congratulate to all of us also to deal with this such pandemic in a very nice way. So this is from my side.
थैंक यू सो मच सर. एंड ट्रूली अब तक हमारे स्टूडेंट्स के लिए हमारे लिए व्यू पॉइंट होता था कि हमारी जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज कैसी चेंज हुई हैं, बट आई थिंक आपका थॉट ज्यादा बेटर है कि एक्सेप्टेंस कैसे आया है, एक्सेप्टेंस इन सोसाइटी, इन पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम्स एंड इन आवरसेल्व्स. एंड दैट्स वेरी ट्रू कि कभी पीसीआर या बायोटेक्नोलॉजी समझ नहीं आती थी और आज हर कॉमन मैन को आरटीपीसीआर तो समझ आता है, भले और मॉलिक्यूलर बायोलॉजी टेक्निक्स आए या ना आए. एंड यस, एवरीबडी फील्स कि बाकी डिजीजेस के लिए भी फिर इसी तरीके का कोई और ऑप्शंस है या अवेलेबिलिटीज है या नहीं. सो यस, द टेक होम मैसेज हियर इज कि ओपन हैंड एक्सेप्टेंस बहुत ज्यादा आया है इसमें और बहुत अच्छे तरीके से आया है. एंड नो डाउट गवर्नमेंट ने भी बहुत बोलते हैं ना विद ओपन आर्म्स एंड ओपन हैंड्स एक्सेप्ट किया है कि हमारे आइडियाज को, हमारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज को वी नीड टू टेक अप एंड हमारे आइडियाज को यूज करके वी नीड टू ग्रो वेरी वेल. सो इसी कंटिन्यूएशन में नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, क्योंकि ड्यूरिंग द पैंडेमिक गवर्नमेंट ने स्टार्टअप्स के लिए बहुत प्रमोट किया है, बहुत फंड्स भी दिए हैं. सो व्हाट अप इज द करंट सिनेरियो, या जो ओपन स्टार्टअप्स हैं, जो ई स्टार्टअप्स हैं या फिर ऑन प्ले स्टार्टअप्स हैं, be it related to medical sector or to other sectors, how have they been shaped? उनके अंदर अब क्या changes आए हैं?
To whom this question is?
So this is in continuation to you only.
अच्छा, ठीक है. So
do I repeat the question?
If you repeat, because somebody
no issues sir. सर आपने अभी बोला कि गवर्नमेंट में पॉलिसीज में और लोगों में एक्सेप्टेंस आया है, तो इसी एक्सेप्टेंस को ध्यान में रखते हुए इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने बहुत सारे स्टार्टअप्स प्रमोट किए थे ड्यूरिंग दिस सिनेरियो. और आज से शायद 5 साल पहले तक स्टार्टअप कॉन्सेप्ट इतना समझ में नहीं आता था. एवरीबडी वाज लाइक या तो जॉब करेंगे या पर्सनल बिजनेस, बस बिजनेस एंड स्टार्टअप वर वे डिफरेंट. तो अभी हाउ हैव स्टार्टअप्स बीन शेप्ड आफ्टर दिस पैंडेमिक?
So yes, definitely, because that's again in continuation of that talk, because the acceptance was a major hurdle for the startup also. क्योंकि पहले जॉब करेंगे या एकेडेमिया में जाके लेक्चरशिप करेंगे या ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा साइंटिस्ट बन जाएंगे, ये अप्रोच था, बट अदर एक्सेप्टेंस वाज नॉट देयर. Similarly, in startups also, when the political bill came, because earlier also there were few grants, postdoc grants, they were there. Dr. Prashant is one of the example for that. He came back on that grant only. So they were very few. So nowadays, if we see the grant or research grant, they are very much in number. Many incubation centers has come up, because startup concept is not the now only. From beginning on very old time also, the startup concept is there, but few people were able to get this opportunity only because there was no hand holding. कहाँ आपको incubation मिलेगा? Who will teach you how to conceptualize your idea? Idea है दिमाग में, innovative mindset है, but they don't know how to frame it and how to do the pilot work and how to take the fund for that. And if you do the R&D and if you have come up with the product, then how to channelize into the market, and then market the supply chain and all this all together were very difficult to get in earlier time. But due to the acceptance of at the political level, what happened, the different ministries has developed many incubators, well set up incubators. Atal incubation centers are one of them. The Niti Aayog has also come up with very idea hand holding. Seed money is there, seed grant is there, Direct big grant is there. So many grants are there. They are giving not only to work on your idea, but they are giving you sustainability also. Because if we talk about in the earlier time, the fund for the R&D, it was there. But how you will sustain, how will you survive into the scientific society, it was not there. So that all funding or grant now very well formulated. Then you have your own salary or your part, then the fund for the project, fund for the other activities, even for travel, even for publication, attending meeting. Now every division has allocated fund. So the operation of your on your innovative idea is not a problem. So because of this, many people has come up and they took the courage to jump into the startup. And moreover, the government of India has also given many, we can say, the positive support. There are many grants, they don't want return on that, they don't have the interest on that, no commitment. You need to work, you propose the work, you do it at an incubation center, give the ground, give your progress report, and if it is successful, go ahead for the next channel. If it is not successful, okay, review it and again do it. So many hand holding is there. So similarly in medical setup, there are now, for example, if you say very small example, in diagnostics, the mask due to COVID time, diagnostic kits are there, big player were there. Thermo, and different big companies were there to develop the diagnostic kits. They have their own conflict of interest serving the society as well as doing the business. So they were having that. But similarly, the viral transport medium, VTM making company were very less. And so many students or even the people, those who have the good laboratory practices, but they are not skilled into the medical term, they also started the company to product the viral transport medium, VTM supply. So that's how they started on the startup. They got good feedback, good supply, good handholding from the government, and now they are well established. So startup has reshaped in that scenario. Platforms are there, incubators are there, different seed grants, small grants are there, short term, long term. Then career opportunities attached to those grants are there. Then there's no commitment of refund money, so the mental peace is there. Then your survivability is also guaranteed because the fund has good allocation of all segments, including the salary of the scientist or salary of the worker, that is also there. And venture capitalist. In pandemic area, in COVID area also, the many people, those who are having very good money, they want to put it into the CSR activity. Now they have also got the position or points where they can put their money, because earlier there was a problem, okay, donate as a blind donor. So they used to donate because they have to donate somewhere for the mental peace or for CSR activities, anything. But now they also know where to put. So many angel investors has also appeared, and they are giving the such support to all scientific people or all starters in different category, whether it's say agriculture, which we say environment, which we can say the medical, even in the psychological treatment also, palliative care, cancer. So they are giving the good money. So every event or everything into the ecosystem is now converged to support each other. So mindset is very nicely changed, and all ecosystem has been come up in a positive way. So these all scenario has given a good environment, or we can say this is the highest good opportunity time where if somebody wants to jump into the startup section, they should. So this is what whole scenario has changed.
ओके, थैंक यू सर. सो बेसिकली यहाँ पर भी एक पॉइंट ये है कि एक्सेप्टेंस आया है, दूसरा ये है कि हैंड होल्डिंग आया है, एंड तीसरा ये है कि चीजें स्ट्रक्चर्ड और चैनलाइज हुई हैं. सो नाउ वी नो कि इफ वी हैव एन आइडिया तो किस चैनल से जाना है और किस तरीके से हम ग्रांट्स ले सकते हैं. प्लस अब ये श्योरिटी नहीं है कि हमें प्रोडक्ट लाके मार्केट में देना ही है. वी डू हैव फंड्स कि हम रिसर्च कर सकें, एंड देन वी कैन डू द ट्रायल एंड एरर थिंग विच इज बेसिक की ऑफ एनी रिसर्च. Thank you so much. Right, mindset open हो गया and acceptance आ गया, right. So meanwhile, when we move on to the environmental biotechnology session, all the students or anybody who have any query, आप please chat box में उसको post कर दीजिए. Once we are done with this discussion, I'll take up those queries. Okay, so let's move on to the environment sector. Dr. Vinay Tyagi, for you now. In addition to the medical and healthcare sectors, एनवायरमेंट केयर एंड प्रोटेक्शन अगेन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट और बहुत क्रूशियल एरेना है, स्पेसिफिकली जिस तरीके से एनवायरमेंट डिग्रेड होता आया है ओवर दिस वाइल. सो वी नो दैट क्लाइमेट चेंज एंड पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल, ये कुछ की फैक्टर्स हैं जिन पे इस वक्त ध्यान देना बहुत जरूरी है. सो कुड यू प्लीज शेड सम लाइट ऑन द रेलेवेंट कोर्सेज जो कि समवेयर इनसे कनेक्टेड हैं, और फ्यूचर प्रॉस्पेक्ट्स एंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्या हैं स्टूडेंट्स के लिए इफ अ स्टूडेंट हु इज परसुइंग बायोटेक या माइक्रो और इंटरेस्ट एनवायरनमेंट की तरफ में, तो हाउ कैन अ स्टूडेंट एंटर एनवायरनमेंट बायोटेक्नोलॉजी और एनवायरनमेंट स्ट्रीम फॉर दैट मैटर.
Thank you. So let's start with how to consider a course. What is the, what should be the basis, which is very important. So when we are looking for a particular domain, we must consider the environmental issues of that particular nation. Okay, so in Singapore, just an example. So in Singapore, they don't have any solid waste management issue. They are rich, so they are doing. They are simply just incinerating it at high cost, of course, but they can afford it. But what is the real issue in Singapore is they are water stressed country. So for more than 50% water requirement, they depend on Malaysia. So they are purchasing water under a treaty, and in next few years, I don't remember exactly the years, how much left, how many left. So they have to find their own way to fulfill the community requirement. Okay, so water stressed country means they have more opportunity in water. So you will find most of the big names, big industrial names there. Even they are, when I was there in 2016 to from 2016 to 2018, so we were leading a project. So Singapore government, they are financing 90% fund they are providing to water intensive industry like semiconductors and breweries or beverage. So they are funding 90% and 10% from the industry to build the wastewater treatment system to treat the wastewater, reclaim and reuse, so that they can reduce the water dependence on the government water supply, municipal water supply. So this is the case of Singapore. So similarly, like in Middle East, if you will go there, they don't have any energy issue actually. So if you want to study or want to do some work there or this, so they have a lot of energy. They have oil. Okay. So, but what issue they are facing? Same the water problem. So they have the largest setup of desalination plant in among the world. So this is what they are doing. So first we need to identify which area we would like to work, whether we are studying or working in India or abroad. So what is the need of that nation? Okay. So now about the environmental biotechnology domain and how to pursue or go ahead. So we can consider chemical engineering. Chemical engineering also means addressing the environmental issues. We can consider biotechnology. We can consider environmental engineering and environmental sciences. So to work and learn about the environment and pollution and all these things. So recently I came to know about a course in Master in Environmental Sciences and Policy Management. So which is a very nice integration of two courses. So in environment policy implementation, it matters a lot. So this is actually it could be read like MESPOM, MESPOM, and it is supported by Erasmus Mundus. It's a European funding agency, and they are these courses are carrying on in I think Austria, Hungary, Canada, and US. So it's a consortium, and a student can apply for that, and they provide scholarship. So this is one. And if you are talking about India, so IITs, NITs, there are very good labs in universities. In BHU, I know Dr. Rajiv Singh from Dr. Prashant Singh's institute. So he's working. So there are some labs there. So the student can consider them. NEERI, National Environmental Engineering Research Institute. So they give this PhD degree and postdoc opportunity there. I'm not sure whether MTech is there. So IIT Dehradun, Indian Institute of Petroleum. So they are working in this domain. So about the energy, finding alternative energy sources. And apart from that, World Resources Institute, it's a private organization from based in the US. So in Delhi, they have, so one of my friends is there. So they are working on energy, water, and air pollution issues. And basically, they are working on them, and they are making policies and helping the governments in different states. So in India, it's like that, and student can find, some academic labs and industry, in Europe, like in Norway, there is an industry can be. So they are doing very good research in sludge management, especially sludge treatment for resources recovery. So talking about the north and southeast, so in Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, and Singapore, they're also doing good work. So, and even in different countries, they have different kind of fellowship. I mean, institute fellowship, as well as like in University Technology Sydney, they have this UTS Chancellor Fellowship. It's a postdoc fellowship, and they give a, under this fellowship, they provide a handsome amount of stipend. So different universities, industries, and there are nationwide fellowship, as well as like in European Union, Marie Curie for postdoctoral researchers. It's a good fellowship. So like that for MS and PhD, German fellowship. It's a very prestigious fellowship. So so student must find first what they check exactly in which domain they would like to work, and then accordingly they can choose wisely. Their place of work or study.
थैंक यू सो मच सर. सो बेसिकली यहाँ भी वही चीज शायद वर्क करेगी जो संदीप सर ने स्टार्टिंग में कही थी कि आवश्यकता ही आविष्कार की जननी है. तो पहले वी नीड टू लुक आउट फॉर दी इश्यूज की एक्चुअली इश्यू क्या है, एंड देन हाउ वी वांट टू वर्क ऑन इट, और फिर उस हिसाब से हम आगे बढ़ेंगे या उस पर वर्क कर सकते हैं. सो इसी के कंटिन्यूएशन में सर थोड़ा सा आप आइडिया दे पाएंगे कि गवर्नमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज इस वक्त इंडिया में क्या है, particularly in the country, for research as well as for job opportunities in the environment sector, and how do students can apply for those, yeah, how do students can avail those opportunities?
So some of questions may be addressed in my earlier reply, but apart from that, there are lot of private organizations. 10 or 15 years before it was not like that, but now like Dr. Prashant said, biomining, and or in our environmental domain, we use this landfill mining. This is going on, and lot of international and national players are coming into the picture. So once these industries are coming in India, they are providing opportunities to the environmentalists. Those who are working in environmental domain, students or researchers. So they have good opportunities. It's expanded. 20 years before, there was, if somebody say what you want to do, either they choose engineering or, I don't want to offend anyone, but science actually was not very much topic at that time, either in engineering or medical, maybe 20, 25 years before. But now, we are working in India, we are working in all the domains, and equal opportunities are available. Okay, so as you said, in government, institution, if we talk about, so NIRI is a good option, and CPCD, Ministry of Environment and Forest. Okay, so there is a very good lab in Hyderabad, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology. So these are some good places. As I said, some labs or industries in abroad, in Europe, or actually Europeans are working very well if you are talking about the energy issues. And so student can find the first they can decide in which domain they would like to work. Then they can see on net. They can Google out which place, which country is doing well. Even when we do the literature, we go through literature, like I'm talking about the researchers. So in literature, you can find different labs and different researchers who are working. So this is a very good source to approach your future destination. So this is what we did actually. Once when we approach for postdoc positions or a PhD position, we go through literature. We find, okay, which is the lab which is working in emerging area of that particular domain. So we can choose them, the labs or the faculties, professors having a prolific profile. So we can go there, we can choose what is the emerging area of research. So accordingly, students or researchers can decide. Apart from that, yeah, I mean, PMRF is very good opportunity. Now a lot of students are coming in IITs also. I mean, students applying, encouraging fellowship is there. Even just to the purpose of this fellowship is to stop the brain drain from India. So yes, these are the opportunities.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So basically, जो भी students environment biotechnology या environment sciences की तरफ interest रखते हैं, तो first thing that you need to focus on is the right direction or is the right question that you want to answer. So whether it's sludge treatment or it's wastewater treatment या energy sources, so depending on the choice of area of interest, वहाँ पे फिर आप अपनी opportunities देख सकते हैं. Any more queries from the students? You can please write in the chat box. तब तक we'll move on to the food and agricultural sector. So we have seen कि medical sector हो या environmental sector, research and job दोनों opportunities फिलहाल हमारे पास बहुत सारी हैं. So let's see कि how far and where are we on the agriculture sector. So sir, बहुत सारी ponic technologies अभी scenario में आ रही हैं, प्रशांत sir, be it hydroponics, aquaponics and all. So how can the upcoming graduates contribute to the sector? Because during their contribution only they'll be able to gain opportunities for them as well. And it'll be like their area of interest and the way they can work for it. So how can these upcoming students work for those?
Right. So I really, thank, Akansha, for framing all these lovely questions that you're trying to cover most of the current aspect, right? So before I start, especially for the student, right, you need to really understand why it is important, why it is needed, and how you can contribute. So if you identify these three important aspects, if you pick any career in the biotechnology, whether it is the animal sector, microbial sector, the plant sector or industrial sector, you need to see what is needed at the current scenario and how you can contribute to these current scenario, then these technologies are useful. For example, like she was talking about the ponics. Yes, indeed. So again, before I talk about this hydroponics or aquaponics, you really need to consider why there is a need for it. And if there is a need for it, how we could contribute, and that could follow in every technology where you want to consider. So nowadays, our agriculture comes under scrutiny because of adverse impact to the environment, depletion of natural resources, contamination, misuse of synthetic chemicals, and lot. Moreover, now the usable land is not available. And there is a big pressure financially, economically on the growers. And that's why now the growers, they are looking for some sustainable, guys, I'm always using this word sustainable. And every time when I use sustainable, you need to take all people, planet, and profit. And now they need to look for some more alternative that would safer, and you can grow the plant in less space with more profit, no impact, degradation to the environment. So now this is the case that we need to answer because there is a depletion. So for this, these two technologies at the forefront. One is the aquaponics and the other one is the hydroponics, right? And normally it is called a soilless farming. You don't use any soil, and then you can grow the plant just in the water, and you can provide the nutrient, and the plant can flourish very well. And I can tell you again confidently, when I was in Britain, even now back in home, there is a lot of big things are coming with the vertical farming. Even in big, if you go to the metros, even in the apartment, there is a big things are coming with this, the vertical farming. So there is a both scope, academia, business, as well as startups. So there are the three important sectors that if you are really interested either in aquaponics or the hydroponics, in all the three sectors, you can easily go with it. And what is important is that, so when you consider, so now the point is that where you could contribute as a graduate, where you could contribute. So first thing, again, you need to identify what is your expertise, what are you interested in. Are you a bit of like, the background of, I don't know, like this engineering, or you have the background of bioinformatics, or your background of more agriculture kind of these things. And you will be surprised when the aquaponics is started. We are just using water and we are providing the nutrient. Now the question came, because in the soil, the microbes are also there. Now again, there is an opportunity. So again, you see, again, there is an opportunity. So now there is a lot of big industries are coming in hydroponics, and they are making this system also associated with the microbes. And the best example is the mycorrhiza. So they can add into the system along with the nutrients with this mycorrhiza. And again, you can exploit these opportunities. Moreover, as further, when it is getting to the advancement, then the people start thinking, could we mix two technology together and we can save the space? So there is a big fish industry. There is a big fig industry is going on. So what they decided to do, they try to bring both aquaponics and the fish industry all together. And now it's coming along like this with aquaponics. And in this, what they have done, so you have the fish in the tray and you have the plants growing, and both these are connected. So imagine how innovative maine bola na, guys. What is important is that you need to think innovatively. And if you think innovatively, if you can simply bring a small change, there is an IP. And you can easily sell it nationally, internationally, and locally. So here they can bring the fish, and the reason behind that, because the fish, they can excrete, and this excrete ammonia, could be transported through the siphon, and this could be available in the form of nutrients. So you can also growing your fish along with these, the plants are growing all together. So in that case, if you really look, so it is very important for the commercial grower, and more easy, it is very easy to set up, looks cleaner, cost less, and more importantly, you have ROI, return on investment. So there is a big opportunity as a graduate student, but again, I'm telling you, you need to find your interest, where you can contribute, where you can contribute in building the system, where you can contribute in running the system, where you can contribute in, bringing these, the resources and all this stuff. And you will be surprised. You will be surprised to know that a lot of big companies, even when I was in England, like in Lancaster, we had a huge hydroponics and aquaponics system, and you will be surprised, 5% university budget was coming from that plant. So imagine how important big sector is there. Now in India, it is getting more popularized, right? So again, there is a big business opportunities there. And a lot of these big companies, if I'm not mistaken, like one is American Hydroponics, Botanicare, Edgegrow, General Hydroponics, Hydrodynamics International, Perfect Grower. I mean, there are the number of these industries. They are hiring young graduates because they need the workers to run these systems very well. So again, there is a lot of opportunities. So again, I could emphasize, guys, pick your interest, and trust me, every job has the equal. Try to set up this in your frame head. If I'm a professor and if you are a marketing officer, I know there is a kind of discrepancy when we deal with that. But trust me, both is the same. It is your interest. You could be the professor, you could be the grower, you could be the equipment manager, you could be the project manager, you could be agriculture. I mean, a lot of things or jobs are available. It is totally your interest. And there is a very nice school in Noida I was visited that is called as IHT School of Hydroponics. So they also do this small training program for these young graduates, for this the hydroponics, and they can also give a sort of certification, in terms of your academia. So yes, indeed, I would say that there is a lot of opportunities in the aquaponics, hydroponics, in all the three sectors: academia, startup, as well as in the industries.
थैंक यू सर. सो आई थिंक इससे मेरे नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन का हाफ पार्ट कवर हो जाता है, दैट व्हाट आर द रिसर्च अपॉर्चुनिटीज स्टूडेंट्स हैव. एंड आई रियली लाइक द फैक्ट कि वो किसी भी डायरेक्शन में, बी इट एकेडमिक्स, बी इट इंडस्ट्री, बी इट वर्किंग फॉर रिसर्च, एनीवेयर एंड एनीवेयर, इट्स लाइक विन विन सिचुएशन, टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए भी एंड हमारे लिए भी. तो वी आर लाइक, हाँ श्योर.
So I will simply add on your second part. Yes, indeed, in terms of this opportunity more in detail. And so now there's a lot of incubation center. Even I'm also the executive member of BHU Bioness program. And we will be very happy if you guys have any innovative idea in terms of hydroponics, aquaponics. Moreover, I have already supported the 2 graduate students and they get the grant from the BIAC. The BIAC is the huge funding agency. They give this grant for some sort of innovation. We know that hydroponics is there, aquaponics is there. If you want a small innovation in even already existing technology, you can win the grant, 50 lakhs for 3 years, and it is your grant, and you can bring the system. And if this grant has an entrepreneur value, they can support you again further years for more than the crore rupees you are going to get. So in terms of money, I can honestly tell you, there is a lot of opportunities available, either in the business or in the industry or in the research. Even a lot of, last year I have sent 2 master students to Imperial College. They were just the master year from the year, right? And the project was simply based on hydroponics, a smart future for environmental degradation. And exactly that was the project title. So you can see that. So there is a lot of opportunity, but exactly it's your interest, where you can fit your interest and how importantly you can excel. And yes, I will be very happy, if any of you would like to have more information in terms of incubation, because we have a very nice incubation center in BSU. There is a lot of opportunity as a PhD student. If you really want to do the PhD from outside, that we will discuss maybe later on. But yes, there is a lot of opportunities. It's totally up to you how you can excel these opportunities, exploit and translate for your welfare as well as the society and the human welfare. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think students, at least is this domain में जो students interested है, उनके पास बहुत सारे pointers होंगे अभी to search and find out. So इसमें सिर्फ एक point मैं और आपसे पूछना चाहूँगी, that is, how can all these technologies be used to contribute to the self-reliance mission that is currently being focused?
So जैसे कि मोदी जी का चलता रहा है आत्मनिर्भर, right? So right, आत्मनिर्भर. So आत्मनिर्भर का simple मतलब ये है, if you are developing any technology, so don't confuse just Atmanirbhar. Yes, you are self-reliant, but this technology is going to available for the others, so it is for the more long-term welfare. And I can tell you very important thing, I belong to Ajamgarh, it's a small town in UP, right? And, it's around like 10 kilometers in my village, right? There is a lot of farmers, they will have the fish, I was really surprised. They have the fish and they were using this, the wheat waste and all this stuff and all this thing. And they have a big pond. And I talked to them कि मैं हिंदी में बता रहा हूँ क्योंकि मैंने उनसे हिंदी में ही बात की थी कि आप ऐसा कर सकते हैं कि कुछ ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी क्रिएट करिए आप यहाँ पे कि आपके पास ऑलरेडी फिश का मार्केट है, आप उसको बेच सकते हैं, ठीक है. लेकिन जो वो कहते थे साहब, जो फिश का वो गंदा पानी होता है, बड़ी दिक्कत हो जाती है, उसको निकालने में बड़ी प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है, उसको नहीं निकाल सकते, तो काइंड ऑफ दिस थिंग, राइट. सो आई सेड, भाई ये तो आपके लिए गोल्ड माइन है. बोले रे भाई साहब क्या बोल रहे हैं, गोल्ड माइन कैसे है. सो देन आई डिसाइडेड टू थॉट अ वेरी सिंपल कंसेप्ट, एंड यू विल बी सरप्राइज्ड. These small villages, they are running the some sort of small businesses, like they are growing the cabbage, they are growing this cauliflower, and they are selling to the market, and they are claiming that there is no insecticide, no pesticide. We are using totally the natural resources, because all the waste is coming from the fish, and the people have the acceptance, right? What the Sandeep was talking in the before, right? Nowadays, when we talk about biotechnology, acceptance is very important. People are very skeptical when we talk about the biotechnology, but when they see with their own eyes, अरे ये तो कुछ नहीं है, सब कुछ सही है, बढ़िया है, उनका अच्छा सा मार्केट है, वो काम कर रहे हैं, so they are self-reliant, they are giving the job to the other people. So I think this is the best example of the self-reliant system, and it is sustainable. Always remember, self-reliance is only fruitful if it is sustainable. So in both the case, it is self-reliant and it is sustainable.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And yes, now we know keep self-reliance mission with an example with us. Okay, my next question is a common question for medical and agriculture biotechnology. So बहुत टाइम से हम ना ड्रग्स एंड वैक्सीन्स को फूड प्रोडक्ट्स में ऐड ऑन करने के लिए, जिसे मॉलिक्यूलर फार्मिंग जो हम बोलते हैं, वी हैव बीन ट्राइंग टू वर्क ऑन इट. So what do we think? Where are these combinations as of now, and how advantageous would it be? This question is for Dr. Sandeep and Dr. Prashant. So I think we may start with Dr. Prashant.
Okay, right. So yeah, it's a very good question. And I think I will be honest. Okay, so I will not be very diplomatic. Okay, so I will give you my very honest opinion. I think Sandeep will also add on it. Okay, so when we talk about these vaccines or the use of the vaccines or the drug in the case of the human sector, it is not only science. Again, I'm telling you honestly, guys, because you are the young graduate, it is not only science. There's a lot of things that need to be discussed. Your political issues, your ethical issues, science is a part of it. So if you really want me to talk about the science, I can simply talk about the science. If you really want me to talk as a holistic view, so I will try to give a very small holistic view. So yes, in terms of development, we were pretty successful in developing this. You must have heard these edible vaccines. There are very fancy terms. These edible vaccines are coming because people have thought, you know, if you just take an apple, you can inject this the protein and antibody. When you take the apple, then it will go to the mucosa, and then you know that the mucosal immunity and these antibodies are released, and you will get it, right? Yes, there was some sort of success is there, but in current scenario, you will be surprised to know that only 3-4 plants has been successfully passed for an edible vaccine, and they are in the phase 1. So they are simply in the phase 1, in spite of we have a lot of research done on these edible vaccines. So if I talk about, first I talk about the science. So sometimes we don't know how much you have to eat, you know, for these edible vaccine. How much do I need to take it, and how much it is important to trigger your immunity? And if you're eating apple, if you part of eating apple, half of the apple you throw, is it going to be meaningful? What about the kids? How much dose we can provide the kids? So there is a lot of also the scientific scenario discussion is there, whether it could be professionally used. And this is the reason there is a lot of gaps still there. I can tell you honestly, a lot of good work has been done. We have come with the banana vaccine, we come with the potato vaccine. There was a big question. I was in Switzerland, I was giving a talk on GMOs, and the people are asking, I can't eat potato raw. Suppose if I'm creating the potato as a raw vaccine, koi aloo aise kacha nahi khana chahega. So then you need to create some like the boiled potato. But again, there is some sort of issue when you boil the potato, some of these antigens, they can deconfirmation, and these efficiency is there, but the efficiency is lost again. Same issue with the banana, and there is a lot of other examples are there. But in terms of advantages, if I say yes, indeed, these vaccines, they could be the very important for these developing countries. But we need a very proper regularization. Unless and until if there is a very concrete policy from the government, and maybe Sandeep can tell more if you know that. I'm not sure exactly if there is any well-defined policy is still available from the government to talk about this edible vaccine. And moreover, suppose if you have a big orchard, you are growing apples, who is going to take the security of these? Because it is like an IP. Aam tod liya, koi amrood tod liya, koi aapka tod liya. So again, you know, the kind of these big issues, moreover. And second thing is that We know that the plant are continuously changing organism. They can change as they face to the environment. So how long this continuum could be maintained? Means once you created the vaccine, the banana vaccine, but if the plant is changing, right? So the continuity of the vaccine production might not be guaranteed. Yes, it could be, but again, there is a big question mark. Moreover, most of these edible vaccine will come for the regular foods, and sometimes it is not super safe. And the third point, which I just explained, the dosage of these vaccine will be very variable. In addition to this, societal acceptance, and this is the one of the biggest problem, guys. It is not only in India, even in the developing countries. We are doing transgenic since 1990s. After 40 years, we have just successfully claimed that we have one transgenic cotton or some other, the mustard, but still we are not. So imagine there is a constraint, there is always a constraint. Acceptance of population. If you go to the market, and also, you know, this, the media is also involved, play very important. If you go to the market and if you buy any vaccine, any apple, if it is written, you know, this apple contain bacteria, trust me, you are not going to buy apple. लेकिन बगल में बोलेगा कि हाँ भाई ये क्या कहते हैं, ये हिमाचल का सेब है, आप बड़े आराम से उसको खरीद लोगे, लेकिन दूसरा सेब उसके साथ ही साथ है, आप नहीं करोगे. So I think currently we also need this, the social awareness, and I think this is a very good point, a good question, that we need to create this social awareness in these small kids so that you can develop. I can give example. I was in Cambridge. I was giving a talk because I was working in soybean, and the people asked me, sir, why you are creating transgenics? मैंने उनसे पूछा, आप क्या ingest कर रहे हो? तो बोला कि we use oil. मैंने पूछा oil में क्या होता है? Fatty acid. So I said, you are not using any DNA, you are not using any RNA, so there is no integration of foreign DNA and RNA in your body if you are using the transgenic soybean oil. Similarly, the mustard oil, because there is a concept that if I take soybean oil, there is a change in my genetics. No, that is not the case, because what you are consuming. So, but again, yes, there is a no problem with the science, but again, sometimes there is a problem in the global, the diversity, there is some sort of issue. So in terms of the final concluding remark, yes, we are successful in terms of edible vaccines. We have successfully utilized like the potato, lettuce, spinach against diarrhea, hepatitis B, rabies, Newcastle disease, and even Hinwan. And most of the delivery mechanism is this oral, but still currently we are in the phase 1. So yes, we are on the path, but I think it will take a bit more time to come to the phase 3, and then it's finally available to the market in a big scale. So that is my take on that. Thank you.
Okay, Sandeep sir, आपका take on this?
Yes, because Dr. Prashant has covered very nicely, elaboratively, because edible vaccines, again, they are having their own promises and challenges. And that's also very true. Till now, there's no such clear-cut or crystal-cut policy to adopt by which we can justify the things scientifically or for the acceptance into the society. Again, I will focus on that because there are not only edible vaccines, but any drug or any vaccine which has to be used for the human trial or maybe for the animals or any other living things. There's only one way to reduce the time for its acceptance. You go hand on hand with the more collaborations and with more open or wide angle coverage. Because when you plan any study to be conducted, or let's go straight forward for the vaccine itself. If we are talking about the vaccine, then we need to see what is the efficacy of this vaccine, then how it is going to, for the clinical trial, what are the other positive and negative and neutral effect of all those things, and then how you are going to put it into the experimental phase, then the trial phase, and the for the population use. So the all point has to be considered in the beginning only. and then generate the consortia of the different expertise, different people. Then you start working on that similarly. And also the awareness for this subject on which the one is working, awareness to the common people, awareness to the scientific people, and the policy maker or decision makers. They that should also go hand on hand at the real time. But this is some kind of the dream which I am talking about, because this is not going to happen immediately. Okay, you plan many big things, then you cannot start even. So again, you need to go with the lean startup side of things. You go ahead with your experiment, come up with some ideas, some results, and then prove it. Then again, go to the phase two, generate more collaborators, and again you go on the next phase. So this is how you can go. I would say in this section for the biotechnologists, see this all things as the scope and opportunities. You can find out your why and on what topic or what research idea or what problem you want to focus on. So you target and then go ahead with the opportunities and scope, whether it's a edible vaccines or whether it's a new drug also, even drug category also, one should target like this where no drug is available. If any bacteria or any viral material or any other microorganism, you have many options for the drug and you are still working on the same microorganisms, that's not a good idea. So you target the things where is the gap and go ahead. But always, I will again emphasize, always keep your mindset open in a different directions. Ask the different expertise to collaborate yourself, or you approach them to collaborate with them, and then you work upon and openly. I will say one just example. Whenever I talk on the subjective note, I always read Swami Vivekananda's literature, because you can find it out many solutions, scientific solutions on such literature. In my postdoc experience, I was working on the cerebral malaria, and there was some study, and some mice lines were also there. They died, and I could not work on that. So I have to newly hypothesize the things. And so first 3 months, I read many literature on the cerebral malaria and what are the problems. Because the cerebral malaria, in one sentence, if I will say, the window of these symptoms are very less. Within 7 days, 7 hours, patient may die if the cerebral malaria appears clinically symptomatic. So, and few people may survive without any problem. So, what was that? It was I am looking for those, and I read many literature. And then I read because I was not finding the solution. So I started reading again Swami Vivekananda. And then from there, idea click, leave the cerebral malaria, go to the site of the infection, go to the brain. And what are the other things happening into the brain? There are many blood-brain barriers, and you can say the brain damage disease, other diseases, Alzheimer's disease, and Parkinson's disease. They are happening, and they also working over there. And then I start reading all those diseases also. So some common pathways appeared into the picture. This is how the glial cells are damaging. This is how the neuronal cells are degrading themselves and repairing themselves. And this is how they are talking to each other during the Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease study. And then I correlated with the cerebral malaria. And I try to find it out what are those cytokines or some secretions. They also can be used as a marker for the patient or host. For example, the marker A, if it is expressed highly at that particular level, then this particular patient will become symptomatic and may die. And if it is not expressed, so this will go without any symptoms. So this was the example. So similarly, in the respective field of the student, wherever they find it out their why, whether it's a multiple drug resistant tuberculosis, multiple drug resistant E. coli, Klebsiella, any microbe, Candida, anything may appear. You need to think beyond the microorganisms. You just to find it out what are the properties of that microorganism जहां आप वो action चाहते हो. So similarly, जब हम ये इस thought process से सोचेंगे, then it will come, okay, the vaccine or edible vaccine has to be utilized to the population, and that to be used on a regular basis, not in a once, and whether they are available there in the market or not. Then again, the dose, how much we need to calculate. So when we see and we will read the properties of drug, properties of good vaccine, responses, what are the characters, then we will be able to identify the pockets of points where need to knock, and with who we need to collaborate or with whom we don't need to collaborate. So in that way, the student can get their proper why, how they are going to plan the all scenario, including their career, because the research or something is not going to happen in 1 month, 1 year, or 2 years. They have to dedicate their life for particular vision. So they should be very careful to identify the why. So this is the whole picture which I try to explain, how to open the mindset, or whether it's an edible vaccine, normal vaccine, even mRNA vaccine, DNA vaccine, RNA vaccine, is the same thing. The conceptual thinking, hypothetical thinking is the same. Challenges are the same. The procedure is the same. So if you skill yourself on those particular ideas or the way of thinking, then you can achieve all those things.
Okay, thank you, sir. So basically, अगर हम edible vaccines को compile करें, तो we have scientific challenges. In addition, we have acceptance, we have dosage, and we have policies. So let's see. And maybe I feel कि आज से 3 साल पहले तक शायद biotechnology को इतना acceptance नहीं मिला था. Thanks to pandemic, we have it. So maybe we may have certain. No, I am not hoping for pandemic or something, but then maybe there is some change in the scenario where we may get
it
acceptance.
creates opportunity. Yes.
Right. Okay. So so this was a quite enlightening and enriching session. हम थोड़ा सा late चल रहे हैं, so I request the speakers to be with us for a little more while, and I apologize for the delay. So the last question, and it's probably the most awaited question from the students' point of view, that Indian students have performed exceptionally well in Indian and international systems in terms of science, research, and engineering as well. So what should be the key factors, yet maybe the take-home message for all the students here to keep in mind so that they can have a successful career in Indian or overseas systems? And that career could be in research, could be in industrial sector, or could be in academic. So the take-home message, or maybe the take-home key points for there. So this question I have for all of us. So we can start probably with Vinay sir.
Okay, so first thing first is selection of research domain. So rather than considering a conventional research type, so we must focus on the emerging areas where we can find several career apart from our a huge gap of research. So emerging areas which has real scale applicability potential. So especially just an example like in wastewater treatment. Okay, so apart from treat the wastewater up to the mark and discharge as per the effluent discharge standard of particular nation, there are a lot of opportunities like clean water recovery and energy recovery through biogas generation. Okay, and by employing anaerobic technology, nutrients recovery, nitrogen, phosphorus, then cellulose recovery. Cellulose comes through the toilet paper we use. So now there are a lot of research going on cellulose recovery also. Okay, then bioplastic recovery. So bioplastic is the alternate of this conventional plastic. So it can recover, as well as the protein recovery. So these are some areas in wastewater treatment. Similarly, in biomass also, in biomass like sludge, agro waste, and municipal solid waste. So we can recover biogases, hydrogen. We can recover nutrient-rich fertilizer, which having a good amount of nitrogen and phosphorus. So we must consider emerging area while we are working or deciding to work on a particular domain. Okay, find out the best labs or researchers to work with. This is another most important criteria. Okay, so a student can Google out the profile of a particular researcher, as I suggested earlier. So they can look after their publication records, patents record, and if their research is relevant with the coming, upcoming or the emerging field. So this is another one. Then another important criteria is those who are working in collaboration with industries. So this is actually good for the scale up of the research. You know, most of the research, they are just large scale curiosity, like an example, you know, microwave. In from 2006 to 2014, 15, during this period, microwave was used heavily for sludge treatment, apart from extraction of the chemicals and all these things. But you know, the problem was the industrial application. It could not be scaled up. So just remains a lab scale curiosity. Okay, so collaboration with industrial partner, it helped to scale up the research. Then the last one is the come out with a prolific research. Work very hard day and night. This is the only time you have a lot of energy. Work Saturday, Sunday, and I mean enjoy. Of course, your time you spend good time just on to fulfill your hobbies, go outing, do all these things. But just as hard as possible, you can work. So brings out with the prolific research profile. I mean, it will help you to build up your research career, you know, either in industry or academia. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Prashant, sir, your views or your take-home messages?
So I have a very simple take-home message that what I followed. So it's very easy for me to explain, right? So first thing, like Vinay was talking, directed. Before you think anything, you have to be very directed. It means you have to be a goal. Unless and until you have a proper goal in your head, it will be very difficult to achieve. Achieve part comes later on. And this is the biggest problem what we face even at Banaras University today. They just look to achieve it, but they exactly doesn't know what exactly their goal is all about. They want to do, you know, research in this, they want to do research in this, they want to do research in this. I know at this platform, sometimes it is very difficult for you to filter out what exactly you want to do, but at least try to fish your niche. What is your interest? And don't compromise with that. This is the golden point I'm telling you. Try to pick your interest. Suppose if I'm not interested in medical biotechnology, my interest is plant biotechnology. Even if I get a job, even if I get a position, it will be very difficult for me to sustain. Two reasons. First, I can't think beyond the black box. I can't think innovatively. And if you don't do it, then it will be very difficult for you to succeed. So for first thing is that most of you have to be directed, you have a goal. Second thing, focus. Again, is very important because sometimes you started with and then you lose your focus because you are thinking a lot of other points. So always you have a target, focus, and then you need to find how to achieve this goal or target. So there are different ladders, again, like Vinay was explaining, right? So you need to find the best person with whom you work with, the best university with whom you work with. And if you filter these two things, it will be very easy for you to success. Otherwise, it is always difficult to get involved and to translate your research work in the fruitful ideas. The third important thing is, guys, open to criticism. This is also very important. Even if you get an admission for a PhD program or a postdoc, open to criticism. Don't be offensive because this will help you to learn so far. I can give you my example. I was a senior postdoc. I was in Cambridge. I was a senior postdoc. I was talking on a conference, and the third year student question asked me. And at that time, it was very difficult to answer me. It was not like that I didn't know, but sometimes it didn't click. So you have to take it positively. And if you take it, you will develop yourself more confident, independent scientist, whether you are working in India or whether you are working overseas. Important thing, believe in yourself. Never think that you are below the par, and never do the comparison that you are below the par. This is the problem what we are facing with our Indian students. I can give you a simple example. Again, I'm telling you, and again, don't compare language with your excellency. English is not a comparison for your excellency. Again, I'm telling you, keep it. कितने बच्चे ऐसे होते हैं जो हिंदी में अच्छा बोलते हैं, सोचते हैं, तो उनको लगता है कि वो खराब सोच रहे हैं, उनकी रिसर्च खराब है, वो काम नहीं कर सकते। आपको मैं हजारों एग्जाम्पल दे सकता हूं जो कि हिंदी में भी बच्चा बोलता है, अंग्रेजी में भी बोलता है, लेकिन उसकी जो थॉट प्रोसेस है अगर वो अच्छी है तो करेगा। तो नेवर कंपेयर। आई कैन गिव यू माय एग्जांपल। आई नो व्हेन आई वाज इन ब्रिटेन, राइट, and now it has been changed. I know everything, but I was really low. Oh, come on. I mean, look at these British are very different accents. How could I survive with that? So sometimes these small things, apart from the scientific problem, comes into your way. If you clutter down these things, trust me, there will be a success. So again, like a take-home message, direction, focus, engaged, connected, valued, and finally believe in yourself. And trust me, if you do it, nobody can stop getting you success either back home or even in UK or USA. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a nice take-home message. Sandeep, sir, please.
अच्छा, आपके लाइव चली है क्या?
हाँ सर,
No, it's like me, but very well, because that is the need what Dr. Vinay and Dr. Prasant had advised to the student. This is really very important. You should know the goal. What is the goal of the life and how to achieve? Dr. Vinay has shared कि कैसे target करना है, कौन सी industry देखनी है, कहाँ जाना है, and that process should happen over there. I will tell my additional point of view in that, because focus your skills and how to do that, the goals what you have, it is very important. Without that, you cannot move on. I will add on this, because you become your own leader or your boss. So that is the one important thing, because for the motivation or the force, your mentor is supposed to guide you. But if the movement or that dedication or the passion is not coming from within you or from your inside, then one can push for some time or some distance, maybe for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. But after that, you have to leave. So take this charge right from the beginning, then your journey will be very smooth and very speedy. And from academia point of view or industry point of view, if I say, skills are very much important. And nowadays, most of the people are focusing to upgrade themselves in different field also. That's very true. Today's generation is very dynamic and they are learning from different platforms, and digitization has also given the additional boost to their attitude. They are learning from different places, some free courses or some paid courses they are learning, and so they are getting skill, no doubt. So they are very much active. The only thing which the industry expect from the person or from the team member, the attitude. What is the attitude of the person? Whether it is just bossism or some excuse personality is there, open-mindedness hai ya nahi hai, this is very important. And then whenever the task has been given, if it does not belongs to his or her skilled area, then also one should be open to either get it skilled or work in a team manner. So that attitude is very important. So the dynamic shift in the mindset or thinking we need to practice every day. I will give you one example or one exercise in the last. for this, how we can achieve that shift in dynamic thinking, where you can take your own charge and you can be a good accountable person. So for that, whatever skills you are have, keep practicing on that, get your skills up to the maximum level in your field, but at the same time, you develop the art of listening and be always ready for the learning, because learning never ends, and art of listening is very much important. When you will understand this and you get the expertise in the art of listening and learning, nobody can beat you. So always be a learner, and industry expect this. One is open or not learner, a listening mode is not or yes, not or yes. And then the important thing is, you should not have the excuses for that. This is not my area. This is not good or bad. Just analyze whatever been given by the industry. See the big picture of the challenge, then react on the last. So that is one thing. And the exercise which I am going to give you, because industry always expects such people, the vibes from the person should be always positive. Result is, it is not attached with the result is negative or positive, it's not a matter of thing, but the vibes should come the positive way. So I will give you the example why. For why I will tell you, you just exercise, all the student can exercise, even myself was also working on that, because learning is always the next level. Generally what happens, whenever some task has been given to the student or to the team player, so many why appears in their mind. क्यों करना है, क्या होगा, क्यों करना है, इतना सारे काम पहले से ही है, कोई बुक पढ़ने का बोल दिया तो बुक क्यों पढ़नी है, बहुत सारे सब्जेक्ट में बहुत सारी चीजें, many why appears in the mind. This happens with the 95 people, 95% people, and they have this attitude, they are very skilled, but because of these many irrelevant why, they stop taking the opportunities. They miss many chances to get into the board. So convert this why, जो सोच हमारी बदलनी है, अब आप इसको नेक्स्ट स्टेप में चले जाइए, why not. So when we say ourselves, some task or some challenge has been shared with us, and then we say why not. Suppose I said कि we need to work on the solid weight degradation. क्यों करना है, कैसे होगा, बड़ा मुश्किल है, कोई सपोज नहीं करता. So this approach will lead you to outside. But why not? Yes, this is very appealing. Why not? The challenge है, solid waste बहुत सारा है, society में पड़ा रहता है, nobody is taking care. This is a waste, but we can use it. So why not? We should. So you can find it out the significance of any challenge by the thinking in a why not approach. Now practice the next step. Why not you? Why not? And now coming to the why not you means, हम कहते तो ये सारी बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम है, उनको ऐसा करना चाहिए, गवर्नमेंट हैज टू डू लाइक दिस, द सिस्टम हैज टू वर्क लाइक दिस, माय बॉस, माय मैनेजर, माय हेड शुड नॉट स्पीक लाइक दिस, उनको ये काम करना चाहिए कि यहाँ पे सारी फैसिलिटीज मिल जाएं, या म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन को वर्क करना चाहिए कि सॉलिड वेस्ट बाहर आए ही ना. सो देयर आर मेनी पॉइंट्स जहाँ पे हम दूसरों को एडवाइस करते हैं. तो जब हम सोचेंगे कि why not and why not you, then we feel accountable to ourselves. So accountability appears in the thought process. So why not you is more important. Then again, the most important thing which we generally miss, why not now. जब कैरियर हो जाएगा, डिग्री हो जाएगी, then we will apply this innovative thinking. कुछ आइडिया बबल हमारे थॉट प्रोसेस में आया, नहीं अभी तो डिग्री करनी है, वो कोई और कर लेगा, मैं जब मैच्योर हो जाऊंगा, when the career will be stable, then I will do this. So that process always linger us and make us lead us towards the unsuccessfulness. वो हमें नहीं ले जाती है सक्सेसफुल की तरफ. So यदि माइंडसेट में हम ये सोचें why not now, so why not you and why not now. तो ये एक्सरसाइज करने से ही आएगा. This approach of thinking will not change in a time. With this webinar only, you need to practice every day. From why to why not, it will take almost 1 month, then another 1 month, why not you, and then why not now, it will take years. So work on yourself, and I think this will give you a very good boost to all of the aspirants, those are working into the biotechnology, biology field. So this whole exercise will not only help you in the career, but also in personal goals, personal life also. So all the best. And I think we delivered the message, what is
Thank you.
required.
राइट थैंक यू सो मच सर. तो अगर मैं आप सबके मैसेजेस को कंबाइन करती हूँ तो आई हैव 5 वर्ड्स विद मी. गोल, एटीट्यूड, अकाउंटेबिलिटी, हार्ड वर्क एंड डेडिकेशन एंड फोकस. सो आई थिंक अगर हम इन पांचों को कंपाइल करते हैं तो वी कैन रीच टू ऑल द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स दैट वी हैव. सिंस वी आर ऑलरेडी अ लॉट अबव द टाइम, बट मेरे पास काफी सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं, उसमें से मैं सिर्फ 1 या 2 क्वेश्चंस यहाँ पे बहुत ब्रीफ में लेना चाहूंगी. बाकी क्वेश्चंस आई वुड जस्ट शेयर इट विद द स्पीकर्स, और आंसर्स मैं मतलब स्टूडेंट्स के साथ बाद में शेयर कर दूंगी. देयर इज वन क्वेश्चन कि इंस्टीट्यूट्स जो एनवायरमेंटल साइंस पे फोकस करते हैं वो यूजुअली एनवायरमेंट इंजीनियरिंग के या एनवायरमेंट केमिस्ट्री बैकग्राउंड के स्टूडेंट्स को प्रेफर करते हैं. नाउ इफ अ स्टूडेंट इज विद माइक्रोबायोलॉजी बैकग्राउंड, तो उस सिनेरियो में एंड अगर स्टूडेंट को एनवायरमेंट साइंस पे वर्क करना है, सो हाउ शुड द स्टूडेंट्स कैन अप्लाई और हाउ शुड द स्टूडेंट कैन अप्रोच?
So I can tell you very simple thing, and I don't have the background of environmental science, but that is totally not correct. I might consider it might be somewhere in the universities, because even at BHU we have the one big institute, IESD, Institute of Environment and Sustainable Development. It's a big institute, right? So if you have the degree what you are proposing, still you are most welcome. You don't need to have any degree in the microbiology and all these things. I might accept. There are some universities, but I don't think so it is a thumb rule, because there is a lot of institute and universities are there where you can avail these courses. That's my take.
Okay, Vanessa, your take on this?
So actually, yeah, I mean, this question is valid and it's happening in most of the institutions. They are very specific. Even I know some places they consider engineering student over the science students. And their justification is that, okay, engineering student, so there will be an opportunity, he or she can be absorbed, so he knows engineering, he can teach engineering, so science students cannot do that. So this is one situation, but I mean, how to address this problem? So basically, when you are presenting yourself, so say if you are a microbiologist and you want to work in an environmental lab, okay, so if I am in charge of the lab, I will look that a student who is coming, he or she, they can contribute in my work, they can help me to expand my work. So now it's the turn of a student to present him or her like what they can, if they are approaching a particular institute, a particular department. So better to go through what's going on in that particular place and align their experience with what's going on there. Okay, so if they are stuck with what they did only and they are not extracting that aligning work or the expertise, so it will not help. Okay, sometimes it may help, but most of the time it will not. So anybody who is in taking any staff or a student, okay, either postdoc or PhD, they want that he or she should help me to expand my work, okay, to advance my work. So prepare your CVs, present yourself the way that how you can contribute in their vision or their work.
Okay, so basically they can just try to find out the labs and the researchers who are working in the domain and approach them with their innovative ideas.
Yes, and yeah, this is actually it's work most of the time. If you are, rather than just presenting you did this, that, no. So also add that how you can advance their work. So you can tell about you have a good experience about that, instrumentation of that particular thing, and you can do that. You can advance this particular thing if given an opportunity. Okay, so yeah, this is very much important.
Okay, Prashant sir, this question is for you. Can you please shed some light on the recent project options in agriculture microbiology in Indian sector?
So again, recent?
recent project options or maybe research parameters in agriculture microbiology.
Right, okay. So in a very simplified manner, I think I have already discussed these things, during my talk. I mean, there are a number of options are available, either as a postgraduate or as a PhD student or even as a postdoc back home in India, right? So if I go from the very the beginning, right? So even there are the number of universities, they are offering fellowship, and I can tell you very confidently, since I'm in PhD, we have changed so much. So we have a number of fellowships for these master's program in these subjects. We have a number of fellowships. We have the program with the environmental microbiology, and like Vinay was talking about the PMRF. So we have already hired in the BHU. Every year we can hire 10 students. Those who have this, the background of this environmental biology for the PMRF program or something like that. So yes, there is a lot of options, opportunities are available. The only thing is that you need to find the correct time and hit the target. You should not wait. And again, I can tell you honestly, sometimes guys, things doesn't advertise on the newspaper and all these things. So sometimes, like the winner, what I was explaining, you need to show your interest. And I can tell you very honestly, even for the overseas fellowships, we know that we have ORS, we know that we have the Cambridge Fellowship, we have a number of these fellowships, but there are a number of fellowships are available that is not advertised. And being the member of British Higher Education, every week I get some sort of information of these fellowships. And a lot of students I supported just to avail these fellowships. But for this, I need to see their passion and interest. So yeah, if you are passionate, so suppose if you want to, let's say, work in the environmental microbiology, the first thing what you need to do, you need to target where I could go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So these are the institutes where we are offering these courses. These are the institutes where we are offering. So you need to set your target. Then go to the particular institute or the department, look the faculty profile, because somewhere you need to match your interest, and then you can make an Excel sheet of the institute, you have the facility, the faculty, and that your interest. Maybe you can find 2 or 3 people whom you are interested in. Then talk to them. Nowadays, it's very easy. You can send an email, and trust me, guys, it is very fruitful and it works positively. And if the person is responding, it's always a win-win situation. Yes, that person is definitely interested in you to hire you in the lab, even for a master project, even for the internship, and even for a PhD. In addition to this, now we have a lot of these, the projects are coming from the DST, coming from DBT, coming from agricultural sector, and even the BIREC. I think it is a very big source of the funding agencies. So you can also avail these 4 platforms. In addition to this, for the postdoc, we also have this NPDF. It is a very highly competitive. Again, you can avail for it, but again, the situation is the same. You need to find your interest. Then you need to find the institution where you can avail your interest. Then you need to find the person where you can translate your research. And then you need to work hard to translate into useful product. Because nowadays, you are the product. And I told this my student, you need to sell yourself. And guys, जब तक आप अपने को बेच नहीं सकते, don't be offensive. जब तक आप अपने को बेच नहीं सकते, आज की डेट में हजारों खरीदार खड़े हैं मार्केट में. It's you. आप अपने को कैसे बेच सकते हैं? And if you learn this, and I'm sorry to say now again, science is also a business. Again, don't take it into very different perspective. Yes, science is science, but again, it is a business. It's a market. Market is there. Availability is there. Buyer is there. You need to sell it. Those, like the Sandeep was explaining, those who have the skills, interest, they have given some ideas, innovative thought, they have opened their eyes, they can easily absorb in the market. Otherwise, it will be difficult. So that is the simplest my take on that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Sandeep sir, last question to you. Normally we say कि vaccine production में 8 से 10 साल लगते हैं, मतलब it takes the entire duration. So COVID vaccine within a year आ गई थी. So there are still two groups of people जो anti-vaxxers हैं या जो COVID vaccine में believe नहीं करते. They are not anti-vaxxers but COVID vaccine में believe नहीं करते. So how should we, being science students or probably science faculties or in the domain of science, how should we take it, or how can we convince the people who do not believe कि एक साल में how is this vaccine there in the market?
Right. That is why that exercise was very important. Why not? Why not you? And why not now? See, थोड़ा सा दूसरा एग्जांपल लेते हैं. इसी वेबिनार की बात करें, यदि इनको जिन्होंने क्वेश्चन पूछा है पुराने समय में जाएं जहां ये डिजिटल वर्ड नहीं था एंड लेक्चर लेना है तो ही हैज टू कम ऑल द ईयर, मतलब जहाँ से भी आना है इट विल टेक टाइम. शायद बाहर से आएंगे तो 6 घंटे 10 घंटे लेंगे एंड देन यहाँ लेक्चर होगा, सारी चीज़ें होंगी, ऊपर नीचे मतलब हॉल में जाना पड़ेगा. सो इट टेक्स ऑल टाइम एंड वेबिनार या एक लेक्चर होने के लिए पूरा दिन आपको यू हैव टू मूव. और या आप हमको ही बुलाते हो तो आई थिंक एक दिन आने का, एक दिन जाने का, एक दिन वहाँ पर लेक्चर देने का, उससे इट वुड हैव टू टेकन द 3 days. But now it is happening in real time, just one click away. So being a scientific person, हमको ये सोचना चाहिए कि whether the target was right or wrong, उसके क्या साइंस हो सकती है उसके पीछे, वो तो सही है ना. अदरवाइज स्पीड की बात करें तो इफ यू गो टू द लिटरेचर, क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स, वैक्सीन प्रोडक्शन, वैक्सीन एक्सेप्टेंस, ये सभी की प्रोसेस में जो फॉर्मेलिटीज होती थी दैट जनरली टेक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. 90% टाइम उसी में जाता है. सो द ऑल नाउ द चैनल हैज बीन स्पीड अप. सारी फाइल्स ऑनलाइन इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली जा रही हैं, सारे अरेंजमेंट एक समय पे 25 जगह पे हो रहे हैं. आप इसी का वैक्सीनेशन का ही एग्जांपल ले लें कि इनिशियली जो छोटे से वैक्सीन कराने होते थे वो कितने टाइम लेते थे. नाउ द होल पॉपुलेशन इज ऑलमोस्ट वैक्सीनेटेड इन इंडिया. सेकेंड डोज कंप्लीटेड, थर्ड डोज इज ऑल्सो इज देयर. वैक्सीन बाहर भी सपोर्ट कर दिया. हाउ इट इज हैपनिंग? इट इज ऑल नॉट फेक. It is well programmed and in a very digital manner. एक ही वक्त पे एक ही इनॉग्रेशन होता है but many people are starting working immediately. अटेंडेंस का ही देखें आप, अटेंडेंस सारी लगा रहे हो, रजिस्टर में होता था, फिर जाता था, फिर बनता था. Now you just make a thumb and attendance is updated. So this is how the policies or technologies are supporting to make the things very speedy. So this question is not कि एक साल में आ गया. जो ट्रायल्स के लिए जो परमिशंस और जो फॉर्मेलिटीज लगती थी, पेपर पर लगता था, दैट जनरली टुक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. वो टाइम ही गया है. अदरवाइज साइंस में स्पीड बहुत है. इससे भी पहले आ सकता था बिकॉज एवरीथिंग इज डिजाइन्ड. साइंटिस्ट आर सो मार्वलस, दे हैव ऑल कमांड ऑन देयर सब्जेक्ट. उनको सिर्फ एक्सपेरिमेंट जाने के लिए फंड चाहिए था, फंड इमीडिएटली ट्रांसफर हो गया, परमिशन इमीडिएटली आ गई, मशीनें खरीदना इमीडिएटली ऑन द डेस्क. सो व्हाट वाज द डिले? देयर वाज नो डिले. सो दैट्स हाउ एवरीथिंग इज ग्रेट. जो 1 ईयर में हुआ वो इसीलिए हुआ कि वो पॉलिटिकल विल, माइंडसेट, साइंटिस्ट का सुनने की बात, एक्सेप्टेंस सभी एक साथ आ गई, डिजिटल वर्ड आ गया, एवरीथिंग ट्रांसफर डिजिटली इन अ सेकेंड इन रियल टाइम. सो दैट्स हाउ इट हैपेंड. मैं सिर्फ एक ही बात कहूँगा क्योंकि डॉक्टर विनय ने और डॉक्टर प्रशांत ने सारी चीज़ें कही और उसमें सारा जो मैंने भी टेक होम मैसेज वही लिया. और मैं अपने सर का भी एग्जांपल लूंगा. हमारे सर जो थे, जब उनके दरवाजे पे जाते थे किसी पॉइंट से, सो देयर वाज अ वन नोट रिटन देयर. वो बड़े बड़े अक्षरों में बोल्ड में लिखा हुआ था एक क्वेश्चन मार्क के साथ में, आर यू हियर विद द सॉल्यूशन और अ पार्ट ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम. सो बिफोर एंटरिंग, बिफोर टेकिंग एनी क्वेश्चन, हमें ये सोचना चाहिए कि भाई हम किसी चैलेंज को सिर्फ जस्ट चैलेंज है इसलिए डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं या हमारे पास कुछ सोल्यूशन भी है. सो आर यू अ पार्ट ऑफ द सोल्यूशन और अ पार्ट ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम? दैट गिव्स अ माइंड चेंज. और हमेशा जो स्कोप की भी बात है या इसी क्वेश्चन को ही एग्जांपल ले ले तो बीइंग अ बायोटेक्नोलॉजिस्ट, बीइंग अ बायोलॉजिस्ट, हमें इस पर क्वेरी ना करते हुए यू शुड गो थॉरोली व्हाट हैपेंड एंड डू द वैल्यू एडिशनल कमेंट कि वैल्यू एडिशन ऐसे हो सकता है. सो चाहे वो किसी नॉर्मल ग्रुप डिस्कशन हो, साइंटिफिक डिस्कशन हो, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव डिस्कशन हो, या आपके प्रोजेक्ट का हो, या जॉब की ही बात हो. जैसे केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग सिर्फ एनवायरनमेंट में होती है. ये क्वेश्चन तो अच्छा है बट इफ यू वांट टू प्रूव योरसेल्फ, नो योरसेल्फ, आपकी स्किल्स क्या हैं and what value addition points you can provide to the environmental science, then everybody will accept it. So that approach we need to develop, and that is what, as a teacher, we want to translate or transfer the approach and attitude to take up any challenge. That should be so strong and have the great confidence on yourself. So that will lead you everywhere.
Just a small point, like what the Sandeep was talking about. I have the same experience, right? So you are talking about 1 year. I can tell you the example of just 4 months. When we started the COVID facility here, our testing was 100 patients per day. I can give you very simple example. So उस समय लगता था कि इतनी टेस्टिंग कैसे हो सकती है? It is impossible. Within 3 months, like what the Sandeep was explaining, it was very easy to get the fund, to get the machine and all this stuff. Nowadays in BHU, we are testing in the same lab 12,000 samples per day, which I never thought of just 4 or 5 months ago. हमें लगता था कि even if we do 500, we are the big boss. But just because of all these automated machine, RNA extractor, blah, blah, and all this stuff, it was very channelized. And now 12,000 sequencing, it doesn't look, maybe the sampling doesn't look very difficult. But yes, just 4 months, it was looking so difficult. So it is not only why we are successful, like what Sandeep explained very well, advancement, availability, allocation, thought process, all they are coming toward the one umbrella to save it. And that's the reason the scientists are always ready to do their part best, and the things are coming very nicely. So ऐसा नहीं है कि बहुत जल्दी हो गया. अब आप कंपेयर करो कि पोलियो को 50 साल लगा था, तो don't do such sort of comparison. You also think that perspective, and you think in 21st century and see how much advancement, how much allocation, how much fund, and all these things are available for to do the science. So I hope the message is clear. So don't. So if you understood, try to translate these message to all your surroundings. Those who have asked these questions, at least this message has to be disseminated to a larger population so they can clearly understand what is the real scenario of this getting success in just 1 or 2 years for the COVID.
Thank you so much, sir. And I hope the questions are answered. It was really an enriching and enlightening session, and probably end hote tak a lot of motivation session as well. So I hope the students abhi tak hamare sath connected hain, they would feel motivated and they'll try to find out their goal and focus on it. I'll just take one last minute, and I request all the attendees to please turn on their videos so that we can have a snapshot as a remembrance of the activity. तो सिर्फ 2 मिनट के लिए अपना कैमरा ऑन कर लीजिए, एक लास्ट स्क्रीनशॉट. एंड आई एम really thankful to all the speakers for sparing the time and giving us so beautiful insights. Thank you all.
Thank you for giving this opportunity to speak and discuss with you all.
बड़ा कठिन सवाल पूछा आपने, बड़ा मुश्किल होगा ऑन करना सबको, हमने देखा है क्लासेस में. जो लोग ऑन करके उनको बधाई दीजिए, एक सर्टिफिकेट आप दे दीजिएगा. इंसेंटिव बोलो पहले.
सर इतने ऑलमोस्ट 1.5 आवर के सेशन में इतने सारे इंसेंटिव्स मिले, सो आई होप द क्वेश्चन विल बी आंसर्ड. थैंक यू अंजलि.
पार्टिसिपेंट्स भी बहुत आए आपके इसमें सेशन में. आई वाज लुकिंग 85 तक थे, अभी तो धीरे-धीरे कम हुए हैं, नहीं तो बट
सर दे वर अबाउट 85, राइट. सर इंसेंटिव्स है स्टूडेंट्स के पास.
Just one thing, keeping the video on. What the impact? Because in science, what we are saying, value addition, confidence, and focus, if you are not visible, then you are nowhere. So keeping the video on shows your commitment, you are focused on the talk or any experiment, and then you are confident enough to serve yourself, your idea. So I will say by the next time, we will definitely see कि video on रखें सारे बच्चे और जितने participants हैं. Because keeping the video on gives how much confident you are and how much focused you are. So congratulations to all of those. Those has appeared very previously, like Shivashni, Shivani, and Siddhant and Adit.
It's a woman empowerment.
Good.
Yes, sir.
वर्चुअल का यही तो एक इशू है कि आपको पता नहीं है कि उधर कौन सुन रहा है.
Exactly. So, but with the, if the video is on with their expressions, at least हमें एक idea हो जाता है.
मुझे तो कभी कभी वही अच्छा लगता था कि वो ट्रेवल करके जाते थे, मिलते थे और बैठ के बातें होती थी. इसमें क्या है ना कि बस वो काम की बातें होंगी and that's it.
हाँ, so वो of course
ये भी
उसके
अच्छा
अपने
है, वो भी
advantages.
अच्छा है.
So उसके अपने advantages से no doubt even I would second with you, right? Okay.
I think
Okay, thank you so much.
प्रशांत जी, आपका फोन नंबर वही है ना जो हमने जेटू में एक्सचेंज किया था?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
I
बिल्कुल.
give you a call later.
Sure, absolutely. Please do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you
guys,
all.
thank you so much.
Prashant and Vinay.
Thank you.
All the best. Have fun. Take care.
Thank you, sir.